we did not go backwards really at all. And I think that was something that ailed us a little bit last week. Procedural, I think we had one little issue, but other than that, I thought our guys did well. And then defensively to hold 16 to one catch or whatever he had on the day. If you told me we were able to do that, I'd be shocked. And I thought just a great game plan, executed it well on all the way around. So again, offensively, it was fun to watch. The confidence was there. As we went through this bye week into this week of preparation, you could feel it all week long. It starts with number 14, and he just did a great job of it. He was a great leader throughout the week, and his confidence will go how he goes, right? And his confidence and his ability to lead showed up for those 2 weeks, and it showed up in the game, and he stood in that pocket and delivered in crucial moments. The O-line protected, and then guys made plays downfield. So I thought overall a really good day. The crowd, can't thank them enough for being here, because that was a big part of our fast start, and that's exactly what we needed. We're, game one of this 4-week mini season that's left here, and we got to make sure we continue to carry this momentum.
Coach, you mentioned Alonzo. He was really sharp. Obviously, the protection was better tonight than maybe it's been. Is that the sharpest you've seen him play, and is it a game that you think he can build on?
Yeah, I think he did a great job. It's not. I watch him play every day in practice. He makes some great throws, and he does a lot of really, really good things out there. And I thought today he played sharp, but a lot of it too in the communication part of things, right? The sliding of protections. There's a couple alerts that he had to change plays and get into run game. I thought he did a really good job of that. So yes, it was a sharp game by him. He definitely can and will continue to build on it. And I just like the way he carried himself over these 2 weeks. We stepped onto that field Friday, yesterday, and it had a different vibe to it, and so did he, right? And then we stepped, into our hotel and that walkthrough this morning, and it had a different vibe to it because he did. And I think that's just exactly where we got to go. I think he's a little more healthy, and he's able to execute at a high level. We'll be able to do a lot of great things.
And you guys scored on your first 3 drives. Drive 1 and Drive 3 were kind of long, sustained, efficient. Drive 2 was barely a drive.
Yeah, that's right. One play.
But what does it say that your offense can score in those different ways?
Yeah, well, you need it to be complete. We don't want to be one-dimensional. We do not need it to just be all big plays, but we'll take those when they show up. We don't want to go search for those. We want those to find us, and I think that's what our receivers understand. When they do all the little things right, that ball will find you, and it'll find you in a big moment like it did with OD there. But I don't, we want to be able to run the ball. We want to be able to use that as play action. We want to be able to take it up top when we have to. We want to be able to have some quick game and get it out quickly. We want, the quarterback to be able to run. We want to have all those different dimensions, so it's challenging to defend. And I thought we did a really good job. I thought Coach Kennedy and the offensive staff put together a great game plan and executed it, and our guys executed it.
You guys allowed only 46 yards on the ground from them. At what point do you kind of just let yourself enjoy watching the defense that Coach Hemp has put together?
Yeah. I think when you're in that situation, you didn't think you could stop that kid for sure. I did not think it. The O-line, and to watch, Bush up front, and to watch O'Neal up front, and to watch Mans up front, and to watch Fitz up front, and to watch McMullen up, and just keep going through the list of names. Those guys up front really started to, at the beginning it didn't look that way, and then they really started to figure out exactly what the scheme was, and they were able to really, command the line of scrimmage and get it knocked back a little bit. And then to not have Jake out there and to watch, Torres fly around and make some plays out there, and Ray, that was their moment to shine. I thought they did a good job.
You mentioned Dobbs right there. Obviously, in your dream world, he's on the field playing. But
Yeah.
How nice is it to even have him just on the sidelines, kind of helping direct traffic when needed?
I think it's great. And I thought, ultimately having the 2-week lead up helped a lot, because the communication piece and just how much he does. He's a quarterback ultimately of that defense in many different ways. And, if it was a 1 week and God forbid a short week that we didn't have him, I think it'd be a little bit of a challenge. But I think to have those 2 weeks, it really put the emphasis on making sure that Trent had to communicate elite levels with Torres and had to do it with Ray. And to watch TJ in that, even in a hotel this morning, just taking a lead on a lot of that was, very, very impressive. I'm really, really happy for him.
To get back to Zoe a little bit, we talked about earlier in the week about him, throwing balls in tighter windows, and I think that touchdown to Donaldson was one of the tighter ones we've seen all year. How reassuring is it to see that from him at this point in the season?
Yeah, that's who he is, right? He has a lot of confidence in himself. There's some trust throws that you're throwing before guys are even open, before they're out of breaks, and we did more of that this week than we have the entire year, and that's just going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to get better with it, and I think, again, a healthy Zoe that's leading and brings the right energy every single day. What this team could accomplish is significant when he's on in that way.
Talk about a little bit what we've seen from Eric O'Neal. Like the sack numbers have been gaudy as of late, but he's also had his hand up in passing lanes and whatnot. What has he meant for this defensive line?
Oh, everything. He's just a relentless, tough football player. He brings a lunch pail to work every day, and he just fights and plays hard and plays a tough brand of football. And he has fun doing it. It seems like every play he makes, there's a little dance or celebration with it. But that's cool, right? Like you only get to play this game for so long, and the ability to enjoy it and make sure that you love being out there and feed off this crowd and give them something to be proud of too is kind of the hallmark of his his style, and it's pretty cool to watch.
Terrence got his hand on that field goal at the end of the second half. We've seen this from him on special teams before this season. Can you just talk about his ability to change the game on special teams?
Yeah, and I thought he almost had an interception down here too on the one play. I think if he picks that one off, he's going the other way with it for a big play. But yeah, he's a quick, long kid. It's more than that. There's a lot of technique that goes into that as well. Like if you really go back and watch his feet and watch exactly his 3 steps to his 2 that he bends and then leaves his feet. He's not just bending off the edge. He has his outside foot back. It's 3 steps to the edge, bending, taking 2 more to dive across the front of that. And that's something that doesn't just happen. We do it every single day, multiple reps every single day. He's done it for many years, and it's really cool when you have a chance to, for it to show up in that moment, because they could have stole 3 there and a little bit of momentum, and it was a big deal for him to knock that down.
As devastating as Tyler Purdy's injury was a couple weeks ago, what does it mean to have Wayne step up like he did today? Because I remember you even talking about, hey, it's next man up.
That's right. Well, the first 2 touchdowns of his career, right, in the same game, and just, ran hard, protected the football, did a lot of things in the pass game as well. He's just a complete running back, so it's fun to watch him go. I thought, again, Joby jumping in at the end too, right? That kid is powerful, and you watch him push that pile. There's a lot of good that's going to continue to come out of that room, and it needs to be, right? With Io out and Purdy out, everybody's got to step up. It's got to have that next man mentality. I thought they did a really good job of it.
You also talked about earlier in the week just how you want to be playing your best football in November.
Yes.
How close would you say you guys are to reaching that point? Where do you need to?
Yeah, I think I can't quantify that necessarily. I think in the end, if we score 50 points and we're every third down is converted and we're flying down the field and we got to call off the dogs. I think if that was the case, I could say it. I think that we left a lot out there, too, that I know those guys weren't too excited about kicking a 52-yard field goal on a 4th and 2 situation or 3 situation. But ultimately, we also want to put pressure on those guys and see what that range looks like and where we're at. And obviously, we didn't execute that very well. But, I think it's a good game. It's a, I'm not saying fully complete, but at the same point in time, I thought our guys executed the game plan at a high level. And I thought when that light shined on them and they had to make some plays, they did that. And that's really important. And on the first game of this, 4-game, closeout season with 3 left now, again, like I said earlier, we got to carry this momentum on forward.
We chat a lot about the youth you have in the D-line and how promising that may look for the future. Talk about the secondary a little bit. Tyler Brown got some action and then got a fumble recovery in that punt return.
Yeah, that kid is good. He's going to be really good, and he is fun to be around. He brings it every day. He was sitting out here on Tuesday night wanting to meet more. Then he was back here on Wednesday and Thursday night wanting to meet more. When everybody else is, at home or wherever they are, he's sitting up here trying to get more time with Coach DeMikes and Coach Hemp and anybody that'll meet with him because he feels like he's close, and that's a pretty cool thing. At this moment, there's some guys that, don't have it, schematically, and will still find ways to add value. He's that close, and to watch him run around out there, that kid's an explosive, fast, really good football player, and he is, some other young guys out there are the future of the program, and it's really neat to see them have a little success today.
The answer to this might be nothing, so that would be fine. But you guys were very successful coming out of your first open date.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, was there anything that you found with this bunch in that open date that you tweaked or changed? Because you were very successful.
With this past one or the previous?
So the first one going into Carolina,
yeah.
Anything you learned there that you maybe changed for this?
I'll tell you what we really learned is not to rush too quickly into this Georgia State team, right? But focus first on us and first focus on knowing that it's us against us. And we could talk about the other team all we want, but if we don't handle our business and then take a deep dive into what ails us at that moment, again, procedural penalties, going backwards, getting ourselves into, 3rd and longs because 1st and 2nd down efficiency wasn't great, continuing to turn them over, but then not do anything with it right away, right? Protection and the communication up front with the quarterback to the O-line, to the running backs, to the tight ends, and then just trust throws, right? Those are all things we really need to work on, along with continue to disrupt the football, take better angles to the point of attack, especially on the counter play that was, banging around with us a little bit lately, and then be able to play the body first on some of the deep ball stuff, and then continue to secure the special teams and play that. I mean, there's a lot of things that we obviously worked on, as you could tell, as we went into that bye week. But it was really first about us. Let's first worry about us, and then take a bunch of days and a bunch of time and a bunch of hours to worry about us, and then we could start talking about the other team.
Do you let your staff at all work ahead in the open day? In the preseason, you try to go 4 opponents in with at least some scouting. Do you do any of that in season?
Yeah, we did it. Well, I mean, the first bye week, we definitely did it with the Coastal game because we knew we were going to be on a short week, right? So this one, as we went through it, there's a couple things that this offense does that our next opponent will do. So we took a little dive into that. Nothing crazy, but just enough to make sure that we were sprinkling that in. So when we get to this next game, we have some reps logged, in what those guys do. So yeah, we do a little bit of it.
You guys have rotated a lot on the offensive line this year, but the one position that you really don't rotate a lot is center. How do you think, Davis did when he had to step in for
I thought he did a great job, and he was confident as can be. He came out there, and as you're looking at him, you're initially, hey, Tanner's down. Let's see where you're at here, and not even no nervousness, not even a blink of an eye. He was ready to go. He was excited. He was actually smiling and excited that he was going to have that opportunity. And that is really what we talked about as a group, is you don't know. If we've learned any lesson up to this point in time, you're not going to be intact with the amount of guys you started with the season. You're not going to end with. So at some point in time, where are you in the step chart? And wherever you think you are, be ready, because you're one play away of being a whole nother level up. You're 2 plays away from becoming a backup or a starter. So are you ready, and are you truly prepared when that light shines on you? Like we talk about all the time, that light shines on you. You're exposed because of the work you didn't do, or you're revealed for the work that you did do. And to watch those guys, Brett in particular, step up and be revealed for all the hard work he's put in, and the studying he's done, and the belief in himself, and the confidence they all have in him was pretty fun to watch.
Is there any status update on Jacob Dobbs? How close was he maybe playing?
I think he could have went today. If you ask him, he says he could have went today. In pregame, he looked good. He was working out yesterday out here, and he's in a good spot. It was just one of those things that we're going to try to hold off as long as we can before we got to put him out there, just to make sure that everything holds up.